We're going to run through the first fight between Willie Pep and Sandy Sadler. YouTube handled WildReese7288 suggested we take a peek at Willie Pep's footwork. This is a rabbit hole I was going to go down at some point. So yeah, let's get into it. Okay, Willie will jam on his brakes in his orthodox stance to control Sandy's lead hand right here. Then he's going to push off this lead foot to load his rear foot and pendulum away here. And now he lands on this lead foot. He's going to step to his left. And again, that's loading this lead foot so he can pendulum away from Sandy's jab. All right, Willie will pendulum, jab, rear uppercut to this lead foot, then lead hook. So this is slick. Willie's going to step on this lead foot and again, pendulum to his left. He's going to hit the brakes right here, meaning he's dropping into his stance, posting on this left foot right here. Now, at this very moment, he's a southpaw throwing his rear cross. Little tie up, jab. Now, Willie's shoulders are square and he's penduluming to the left. So right now, he's over his rear foot. Now it's lead foot, rear foot, then I'll double it up. And right here, he's going to throw his rear uppercut, which puts him over his left foot. And then from here, he's going to throw his left hook, which puts him towards his right foot. And one thing to notice, check out this rear arm control, then the spin right there. And he gets caught by this jab. Okay, Willie's going to step this lead foot back right here, then to the left. He'll pendulum, and then he's going to pendulum a second time into his stance, dropping under Sandy's jab. All right, again, Willie's going to pendulum to the left. Note the square shoulders. So 1, 2. And now this third time, he's going to pendulum into his stance right here, throwing his rear cross. Then we have a tie up, and we'll speed through this. So here's another fun clip. Willie's going to step this lead foot back right here. Then he's going to push off this rear foot, stepping to the left, penduluming under this jab. Then he's going to pendulum again, hit the brakes right here. Now note, he's in the southpaw stance. He's going to throw a rear uppercut. Then he's going to wrap his arm around, spin, then rear straight. Now Willie's going to pendulum back just like before, and he'll stop suddenly into a stance, anchor, and then snap off that jab. And then we'll buzz through this section. It'll take just a minute. Okay, this is a great sequence. Willie's going to feint this uppercut, and it's just to get to this lead foot so he can throw his leaping cross right here. Now, check out his shoulders are square. He's going to pendulum to his rear foot right here, and then he's going to weave to his lead foot, and again, hit the brakes. Notice all his weight is on his left foot, and then he's going to weave back to his right foot, but he's going to bring his lead hook with him right here. Then he gets back to this lead foot and throws a leaping hook. Then we get a little tie up right here. All right, check out the big step to the left by Willie right here. And I want to point out his left foot is now his rear foot, which means he's in the southpaw stance at this moment. So he'll pendulum right here, hit the brakes, putting himself into a southpaw stance, and come back with a rear hook to the body. Then let's get this train moving again. So Willie's completely square, bouncing in place, and similar to the last pattern, he's going to take a big step to the left, and note he's in the southpaw stance, and he'll fire off a rear cross right here. And then another tie up, and let's let this run. Now Sandy's going to push off his rear foot, step with this lead, throwing a lead hook as Willie bobs down over his lead foot. Now he's going to pivot, throw his cross, hook, double it up, and then rear uppercut. Okay, Willie's posted over his lead foot. He's going to push off his rear foot, shooting a jab to the body right here. He's going to look for another one. Then we'll have a tie up. And then we'll let this go for a little bit. All right, we got a closer view. He's penduluming, moving left right here. Then he's going to pendulum to his rear foot to throw his rear cross, then lead hook. Then he's going to pendulum out in this direction for a rear uppercut. So this will be the last clip of the round. He's penduluming to the left. Then he's going to walk backwards, right foot, left foot. He's going to stop in a stance. And again, he's going to be in the southpaw stance to fire out his rear cross, then lead, another cross, and then lead hook to the body. And that'll do it for round one. All right, let's get into round two of Willie Pep versus Sandy Sadler. Okay, Willie will draw this lead leg back right here. Then he's going to push off this rear foot, pendulum to the left. And as soon as he lands, he's going to throw a leaping jab. And note this rear hand control in case Sandy should jab. Now, Willie's shoulders are square. He's going to pendulum into his orthodox stance right here. And then they're going to attack each other on the same beat. Willie's going to attack the head as Sandy goes to the body. And once again, notice the rear hand control from Willie with that down parry. Next, Sandy's going to attack the same way, that jab to the body, but this time Willie has a counter for it. So check out this down parry and, more importantly, this lead uppercut. So Willie's going to draw this lead leg back right here. Now Sandy will jab, and Willie's going to push off this rear foot, stepping his lead foot to the left and slipping inside of that jab. Now he'll follow up with a lead uppercut right here, and then we'll have a little bit of movement. Then a rear cross from Sandy, another one to the body, and then he'll throw out his lead. All right, Willie will pendulum to the right, and then check out this step, lead foot step, rear foot step, and as soon as that rear foot plants, he's going to throw his rear uppercut, then lead hook. Okay, Willie's weight is over his right foot. He's going to shift his weight to the left foot right here. And now he's going to pendulum to the left, and once he lands, his head is still over that left foot, or rather, his rear foot. So once again, he finds himself in the southpaw stance, and from here, he'll fire out his rear cross. And they'll tie up, and let's buzz through this section. Now Willie's posted up over his lead foot. He'll throw a hook as Sandy pulls right here. Now Sandy's going to get to this lead foot, throw an uppercut to the body, to the head, and then one more to the body. So Willie's going to step on this lead foot, pendulum to the left. He'll do it a second time, but the second time puts him in his orthodox stance for his rear uppercut. All right, Willie will step on this lead foot, pendulum to the left once, and then twice. Now, Sandy's going to throw his jab, and Willie's going to hit the brakes, which just means he's going to stop penduluming and drops into his stance, either orthodox or southpaw. In this case, he'll be a southpaw, pulling to his rear foot away from that jab. Now he's going to come back with a rear hook to the body, and then he's going to tie up, throw his overhand, uppercut, lead cross. Okay, this is pretty neat. Willie's head's over his rear foot in a southpaw stance. He's going to shift his weight neutral and then hop in place. So right now he's airborne. He's switching his feet in the air, putting them back in his orthodox stance to throw this lead hook to the body, rear straight, and then we have another tie up, and we'll speed through this. Now, Willie's going to drop and throw his rear uppercut right here. Now, that's just a means to an end. He's looking to get to this lead foot to spring forward right here. Now, this is an important note. He sprung off his lead foot and kept his head over his lead foot. He didn't spring off his lead foot to his rear foot. By doing this, in effect, he put himself in a southpaw stance if he should just turn his shoulders towards Sandy, which is exactly what he does. So he'll pendulum a second time, come back with a rear hook to the body. Then we're going to see a bunch of right crosses, hooks, and uppercuts thrown at Sandy. So Willie will bob down over that lead foot, throw a hook to the body, step back, bounce, and then drop into the southpaw stance for a rear hook to the body. Then we'll buzz through this section. All right, Willie's going to throw a rear uppercut to that lead foot, lead cross, rear straight. He's going to slip into his lead foot here, then out, controlling that lead hand. He'll pull while stepping back, and then again away from this hook. Then we're going to see Sandy do some holding and hitting right here. Willie goes down, and we'll keep this train moving. Okay, this is our last clip of the round. Willie will pendulum. Then he's going to push off this rear foot, stepping left. Again, note the southpaw stance as Sandy goes for this body shot. Sandy's going to look to hold and hit. Then we have a tie up. Then Sandy's going to throw the sleeping hook to the body. And that does it for round 2. All right, we're going to get into round 3 of Willie Pep versus Sandy Sadler. Now, this round, we're going to be teleporting from time to time. Yeah, that'll make sense soon. Okay, Sandy's going to throw his rear cross as Willie pulls to his rear foot right here. Now, Sandy's going to continue his momentum penduluming forward while Willie catches him with this lead counter. Now, Willie's going to pendulum to the left as Sandy attacks with his jab. And we're going to see right here, Willie hit the brakes, dropping into a southpaw stance, is in a counter with this rear hook to the body. And note, the rear hook to the body placed his head over his lead foot. So right now, Sandy's countering with his jab, and we're going to see Willie pull as a southpaw. So Willie flipped back to orthodox, heads over that lead foot. He's going to pull this jab to the body from Sandy. And then Sandy's going to double it up and check out this rear hand parry. Now this is pretty neat. Notice how Willie is penduluming to the right here. And then he's going to change directions and go left to set a trap. But before we go into the trap, one more thing to notice is how Sandy is squared up. So as Willie moves left, Sandy's going to turn to face Willie. And as he does, Willie's going to hit the brakes right here, dropping into his southpaw stance and throwing a rear cross, then lead hook. All right, Willie's pendulum to the left, 1, 2, and then he's looking to change directions, but he gets caught crossing Sandy's line and eating this jab. Okay, we just teleported from the top of the ring to the bottom. I didn't realize that tech existed yet. And that's my attempt at a joke. So this is a cool sequence. Willie's going to pendulum forward, looking for the jab to the body. But let's hone in on Willie. Check out how he's in his orthodox stance. He's in a pendulum with Sandy, just in reverse. And right here, notice how he squares up. Then he's going to drop into this southpaw stance and throw his rear cross right here. Pendulum to the left, then back to the right. And that sets up this rear uppercut. Then lead cross. Now note all of Willie's weight is on his rear foot. So as this rear cross from Sandy comes, he's going to weave to his lead foot right here. And then he's going to pendulum away as Sandy's lead uppercut comes. Then we'll keep this train moving. So Willie's going to pendulum to the left and then back to the right and check out this post. And then he's going to start pulling from this jab from Sandy. And then we just teleported again to right here. Now Willie's weight is over his rear foot. He's going to shift his weight to his lead foot right here, trying to pendulum away from Sandy's jab. He'll continue squaring up right here. Then he's going to drop into this orthodox stance to throw this short right. All right, Willie's pendulum to the left, and he's going to hit his brakes right here throughout his jab. Then he's going to drop and throw this rear cross right here. Now, Sandy's looking to counter Willie, and he catches him with this jab. Now, Sandy's going to double it up, and we're going to see Willie drop and throw his rear uppercut in the orthodox stance. Follow up with his lead hook right here. Then he's going to drop as a southpaw and throw this rear hook to the body. Then we'll have a tie up, and we'll let this run for a little bit. Okay, this is the last clip of the round. Willie will be backpedaling, and as soon as this jab from Sandy comes, he'll hit the brakes, drop in this southpaw stance, and counter with his rear hook to the body right here. And then I think we teleport again, so that'll do it for round 3. All right, let's get into it. Round 4 of Willie Pep versus Sandy Sadler. Okay, Willie's weight is on his rear foot. He's going to spring off his rear foot to his lead foot. So to drive this point home, his head is towards his rear foot, and now it's towards his lead foot. He's going to go ahead and snap off a jab, but let's hone in on Sandy. So check out this rear hand parry, and then the lead hand counter. And then we're going to see that again, parry, counter. And now this time, Sandy's going to attack, but we're going to see Willie pull to his rear foot. Now Willie's going to start pendulum to his left. Note his shoulders are square, and Sandy's going to fire out his jab right here. And Willie's going to shift his weight to his left foot, dropping into a southpaw stance, and he's going to counter back with this rear uppercut. So here I just wanted to point out the old school gloves. I find it interesting to think about how the attached thumb changed the game. All right, back to it. Willie's going to push off this right foot, step left, pendulum, and then drop into the southpaw stance to throw his rear straight, and then he's going to pendulum to his left. Okay, this is neat. So once again, he's going to push off his right foot and step left, but instead of penduluming to the left, he'll plant, weave, and then pendulum to the right. Now, Sandy right here is going to look for a jab to the body. Now we get a good view. Willie's going to shift his weight to his left foot, penduluming left. He's going to hit his brakes right here, dropping into southpaw stance to throw this rear cross. And then check out this double arm wrap by Sandy. And then we're going to see a collar tie right here by Sandy. And he's going to come up with his left uppercuts. Then we'll have a break. Post by Willie. And then some pendulum movement. So Sandy will feint Willie into a shell right here, then throw this uppercut. Willie's going to counter back with his own uppercut right here. Now he's going to shift his way to his left foot, penduluming left. And then he's going to come back and weave right. And then we'll see a little bit of clinch work. All right, Willie's over that lead foot. Sandy's going to walk into his orthodox stance with this jab. And note this parry jab by Willie. They're both attacking on the same beat. And we'll see that again. And then we'll see another jab by Willie. And then a pull right here. Okay, Willie's going to go to the body. And check out this down parry by Sandy. He's going to go ahead and circle away right here. Now, Willie's going to stay engaged with Sandy's rear hand. But note this big step by Sandy. He's going to throw a hook to the body. And then follow up with this overhand. Now, Willie's going to go ahead and bob down and escape where this overhand came from. And this is slick, so Willie's going to turn around as a southpaw, throw his rear hook, then lead uppercut. And then we're going to see Willie post off using his palm to break that clinch. Now Willie's going to snap off his jab as Sandy looks to counter. Then Willie's just going to go ahead and pendulum off to the right. So we'll get another close-up, and just like the last one, he's going to shift his weight to his left foot and pendulum. But instead of countering with that southpaw rear cross, he gets attacked by Sandy with this rear hook. So he drops under, and he's going to weave to his right foot. And then he's going to roll with this lead hook from Sandy. And then he's going to counter back as a southpaw with that rear cross to the body. Now, it looks like he walks through his stance for this lead hook, rear cross. And then again, he drops into the southpaw stance. He's going to throw a rear cross to the body. All right, Willie's going to fire out his jab, and then he's going to double it up. Now, Sandy's going to look for his lead right here and check out the pull from Willie. And here's something neat. As he shifts his weight back towards his lead foot, he's going to pull this lead foot back, dropping into a southpaw stance. He'll feint this uppercut, and then he's going to pendulum right. Okay, Sandy will jab as Willie pulls. Now, Willie's going to shift his weight to his left foot, pendulum to the left. Then he's going to bob down under Sandy's rear hook right here, weaving to his right foot. Now, he's going to do something super slick. He's going to leap off this right foot to his left foot, dropping into a southpaw stance to get off this rear hook to the body. Now he's going to get back to this lead foot so he could throw his lead hook, rear cross. And then again, he's in a pendulum to his left, dropping into this southpaw stance to throw this rear hook to the body. Now they'll both jab on the same beat, both slipping outside. So they'll both end up in the same position again, but check out Sandy's rear hook to Willie's kidney right there. All right, Sandy's looking for his leaping lead uppercut as Willie's looking to time him again with this rear uppercut right here. Now, Willie's going to go ahead and pendulum off to the left. Again, he's going to drop into a southpaw stance right here, going for his rear hook to the body. And then we'll have another tie up and a break. Okay, Sandy's looking for this leaping hook as Willie slips inside for the lead hook to the body. And then we'll have another tie up. Now we saw this a little bit earlier. Check out the forearm control right here by Willie. And then Sandy's going to go to Willie's backside right here. So we'll see one more reoccurring pattern. Sandy's going to get to this lead foot for his leaping hook, and Willie's looking to counter him with that rear uppercut right there. And now Willie's going to go ahead, same thing, pendulum to the left right here, drop into the southpaw stance for his rear cross to the body. And then one more tie up and a break. And that will do it for round 4. All right, back at it. This is round 5 of Willie Pep versus Sandy Sadler. Oh, and we're going to see some teleporting this round. So, in fact, like right there. Okay, Willie's heads over his lead foot and Sandy's going to snap off a jab as Willie drops and throws his lead counter right here. Now, check out that post. And next, this is super slick. So Willie drops into a southpaw stance. Then he's going to shift his weight back to his right foot, which turns into his rear foot to throw this rear uppercut. Then he's going to push off this lead foot to pendulum away. So Willie will feint and then commit his lead. Sandy's going to follow up with a jab as Willie pulls. And then Willie's looking to counter right here, but he's going to get caught with Sandy's follow-up. And then check out this post with the palm by Willie. Now, this next move, I like it. We're going to see Willie gallop here to the left, drop into the southpaw stance, turn his shoulders to throw this leaping cross, and then follow up with his lead hook. Now, Willie's going to bob down over his lead foot and note his rear foot, how he kicks it back. He's going to throw a lead hook, rear cross, and check out the catch by Willie, but then he gets caught with this cross. Now, Willie's going to look for his hook, and then he's going to pendulum to a southpaw stance for a rear cross lead hook. And then again, pendulum to the left to throw this rear cross. All right, Sandy's going to catch Willie with this jab. Willie's going to come back with this southpaw rear uppercut. And then we are going to teleport. Okay, Sandy's going to walk through his stance, get to this lead foot to throw his leaping hook as Willie gets to his rear foot to spring off. Now, check out this rear hand cover by Willie and then his lead hand counter. Now, Sandy went ahead and threw out this jab, and as you can see, Willie pulled to his rear foot. He's going to come back with his rear cross. Then an uppercut by Sandy. And then we have a tie-up and a break. So Sandy will walk through his stance again, looking for this leaping hook as Willie throws his rear cross. And then check out this forearm control by Sandy, and then the rear uppercut. Now right here, check out this rear hand collar tie by Willie. And now we have a collar tie on both sides, and this is neat. Check out how Willie's rear hand is on the inside, and now it's on the outside. And see how it's hooked around Sandy's tricep. He'll do an elbow pass by pushing Sandy's elbow across his body. Then he's going to go ahead and hit him with this rear cross, and then post, throw his rear uppercut, then lead hook. Okay, Willie will throw his rear cross as Sandy slips in. Then Sandy's going to walk through his stance as Willie throws another rear cross. And then we have a tie-up and a break. So Willie will catch Sandy with his jab, rear cross, and then post right here. Sandy will catch the collar tie. And Sandy's going to go ahead and throw his lead hook as Willie drops. And then Willie's going to come back with his rear cross, lead, rear, lead. Now Willie's over his lead foot, then rear foot. He's going to throw this rear cross right here. And then Sandy's going to counter with this uppercut. Now since Willie got stuck on that lead foot, say instead of pulling or rolling with the uppercut, he could counter out with this lead hook. And then Willie's going to go ahead and pendulum into a southpaw stance, come back with a rear uppercut. And then we'll have a tie up and break. And this will be the last clip of the round. Willie's going to drop into an orthodox stance, throw his rear cross, and then he's going to bob under this rear uppercut from Sandy. Then we'll have some movement and good old-fashioned headlocks. It's crazy. All right, this is round 6 of Willie Pep versus Sandy Sadler. So Willie's head is toward his lead foot, and Sandy's going to jab, and we're going to see Willie pull and then come back with his rear cross. Now, this is slick. As soon as that rear foot lands, he's going to push off that rear foot, go square right here, and then push off a second time to pendulum to the left into his southpaw stance. And then he's going to fire off this rear cross and then push off this lead foot to evade Sandy's lead counters. Okay, Sandy will jab as Willie parries and pulls. And then Sandy's going to do that again, but this time Willie's going to try to meet him with his lead. And then right here, this is neat. Willie has the ability to feint with his rear hand, putting him on his lead foot, which allows him to pendulum to the left and then hit the brakes, pendulum to the right, and then drop into this orthodox stance to snap off this jab. Now they'll look to time each other with their leads, and two things to note. First, Willie's going to keep this post, and second, Sandy isn't letting go of that wrist. Those old school gloves with the free thumb make that possible. Willie's going to follow up with a rear cross, and check this out. His rear foot shifted forward. Now he's in a southpaw stance. He's going to follow up with another rear hook. All right, Sandy will jab as Willie pulls. He'll look to double it up, and Willie's going to slip inside right here. Now, with Willie's weight over that lead foot, he could counter out with his lead cross. And right here, the referee is going to teleport from there to somewhere over there. So Willie's going to leap off his rear foot to his lead foot so he could throw this leaping hook, then rear cross. And then Sandy's going to come back with his rear hand. Then they're both going to throw lead hooks. Willie will look to double up 2 more lead hooks right here. And then Sandy's going to counter with this rear uppercut and 1 more hook from Willie. And then Sandy's looking to get this collar tie and try to catch him with a rear uppercut. Okay, Willie will look to grab Sandy's lead hand, and then he's going to feint this rear cross, which puts his weight on that lead foot so he can pendulum to the left. And then he's going to leap off this lead foot to snap off a jab. Now, Willie's going to shift his weight to his right foot, trying to get away from Sandy's jab. Then he's going to weave back to his left foot and pendulum. Then he's going to hit the brakes in the southpaw stance to throw a rear uppercut. And then we'll have a tie up and a break. All right, Willie will flash out his lead, shift his weight to his lead foot, bringing that rear cross with him, then pendulum to the right. Again, same idea. He's going to flash out that lead, follow up with the rear cross, and check out how he posts with this rear hand. And also notice now he's in a southpaw stance, and he's going to follow up with the rear cross. Then he'll push off. So Willie will land on this left foot, and note he's square. He's going to throw out a leaping jab, rear cross. And now this is slick. He'll pendulum off this lead foot and turn his shoulders, putting him in a southpaw stance. He'll throw a rear cross and then lead hook. Okay, so he dropped in this orthodox stance, and he'll throw his rear uppercut. Now, Willie will throw out this jab as Sandy parries. He'll do it again. Sandy's looking for that parry, but this time, Willie's going to follow up with this rear cross. Then he's going to miss with this hook, but check out that control of the back of the head. Then he looks to tie up. Then right here, I think we're going to teleport. All right, this one's interesting. Willie's going to land on his rear foot, push off with a rear straight as a southpaw. And I've heard the term dart used to describe this move, but that's not what's interesting. What's interesting is the overhand right attempt that he follows up with. So here's the rear straight, and then this is the right overhand attempt. So Willie will throw his jab rear cross, and now with his weight on his lead foot, he'll pendulum to the left. And I like this from Sandy. Check out how they're both in their southpaw stance. Sandy will follow up with a rear hook, and then we'll have a tie up and a break. Then another tie up and one more break. Okay, Willie will throw a shifting rear uppercut, meaning he'll throw this uppercut and shift this rear foot forward as Sandy pulls and counters with his rear uppercut. And note right here, they're both southpaws. Sandy's going to throw a rear hook to the body. Then Willie's going to follow up with a rear cross, lead cross. Sandy's going to counter with this uppercut and then a leaping hook. Then we'll have some hitting and holding, tie up, break, another tie up, and that'll do it for round 6. All right, round 7 of Willie Pep versus Sandy Sadler, and it's wild. Okay, Willie got to this lead foot. He'll fold out a double jab. Then we'll have some movement, and then we're going to teleport. We have no ref right now, and now we have a ref. So this is pretty neat. Willie's going to start pendulum to the right, and then he's going to hit the brakes right here, putting his head over his lead foot, slipping inside that jab. Now, Willie's looking for this lead hook to the body, but watch as Sandy grabs this collar tie. And then the ref's going to get involved, and then we have a break. Now we'll have some more rough housing. Sandy's going to move forward, and check out this double palm post by Willie. And then we're going to have another collar tie by Sandy, and a tie up, and a break with the ref. And here's one more interesting thing to point out. Check out how Sandy pushes the ref away. All right, Willie's going to pendulum to the left, and he's going to hit the brakes right here. Notice his head's over his left foot. He's going to weave to the right, and then we're going to see Sandy look to tie up. Now, right here, check out this forearm control across Sandy's neck by Willie. And then Willie's going to look for this rear hook to the body. Okay, this is wild. Sandy has his overhooks in, but let's hone in on Willie. Check out his left hand. He's reaching behind Sandy's right knee, but wait, it gets better. Now watch Willie's right leg. He's going to wrap around Sandy's left leg right here. And also note the right arm wrap around Sandy's back. And if there's any grapplers that are watching this, let me know what you think about this. Super curious. And then we're going to see the ref jump in right here. He's looking to break it up. And then, unfortunately, he goes for a ride. And he'll get up, give it a go again. And this time he's successful. And he is going to tell Willie, don't throw me on the ground again. So Sandy will jab as Willie pulls. And then Willie right here, he's going to start penduluming to his right. And Sandy is going to throw his lead hook. And we're going to see Willie bob down over this lead foot. Now Willie got to this lead foot. He'll snap off a double jab. Sandy will parry the second one. Now Willie's going to double it up again. And check this one out. He catches this and he's countering back with his lead. And then Sandy's going to throw out this jab. We're going to see Willie bob down over this lead foot and then weave to his rear foot. All right, we're going to teleport back in time. This is the wild sequence we saw a little bit earlier, just a ringside cam view. So they're locked up, and we're going to see that forearm control right here across Sandy's neck. And then we're going to see that leg wrap by Willie right here. He's wrapping his leg around Sandy's lead leg. Okay, Willie's going to fire off this jab, and then Sandy's going to throw this rear hook to the body. Now, he gets stuck on this lead foot. Willie's going to throw his rear straight, lead, then another rear straight. And then Willie's going to look for one more rear straight, and then we'll have a tie up. So Willie's going to pendulum to the right as Sandy jabs. Right here, we're going to see a parry pull by Willie, and then this lead hand post. He'll do it again, then pendulum to the left. Then he looks to drop in an orthodox stance, but then gets back to penduluming as Sandy throws this rear cross to the body. Now Willie's going to throw his rear straight, lead across. And then he's going to pendulum, hit the brakes, turn as a southpaw, throw his rear cross. And then right here, Sandy's going to jab, and we're going to see Willie pull, and then look to come over the top. And then we'll have another tie up. And then a break. And that does it for round 7. Okay, round 8. Okay, Willie's going to leap off this lead foot, pendulum, and then he's going to drop right here under Sandy's rear cross. And then again, he's going to leap off this lead foot, and then we'll see a little back pedal, and then some more penduluming. Now, Sandy will do a good job here of looking to cut off the ring with this hook. And then right here, we're going to teleport from here to down here. All right, Sandy's looking for this lead hook to the body as Willie drops. And then check out this forearm control and the right arm wrap. And then we'll have some holding and hitting, tie up, and a break. All right, Willie will throw out his jab and leave it hanging out there, and then it's going to turn into a tie up. So we've seen this before. Sandy has the headlock, and so watch Willie's left leg right here. Check out that wrap, and he's going to go ahead and ride Sandy. Then we're going to have the ref talking to Willie again, telling him to stop doing that. Now, this is really good ring cutting by Sandy. Willie's going to go ahead and pendulum to the right, and Sandy's going to make him pay for it. First with this lead hook to the body, and then we're going to see Willie go ahead and continue to the right, and Sandy's going to pendulum along with him. He's going to get to this lead foot right here, throwing another hook to the body, and we're going to see that one more time. Just brilliant work by Sandy. Then we have another tie up. And eventually, we're going to have a break. All right, Willie's going to pull and parry this jab from Sandy, then counter with this lead. Then next, right here, we are going to teleport. Okay, Willie's going to fold out this jab as Sandy parries. And then right here, once again, Sandy's going to look to cut off the ring with this rear hook to the body. So Sandy's going to look for this lead hook as Willie drops into a southpaw stance. Then we'll have a tie up, and then Willie's going to shuck him off. Now this is slick. Willie's going to lead with this rear uppercut, then look to post. He'll hit the brakes right here as a southpaw, and then throw this rear straight. All right, Willie's going to backpedal into the southpaw stance and throw a rear uppercut. Then we'll have a jab. He will walk left, then right. Okay, let's get into round 9. Okay, Sandy will jab as Willie pulls. Then Willie's going to drop under this next jab, and then we'll have another tie up. Then eventually, we're going to have a break. Okay, this is neat. Willie's going to drop immediately. Now, right here, he's going to go ahead and loop his left hand around Sandy's right elbow, and then he's going to complete an elbow drag. Super slick. Then Willie's going to bob down over his lead foot and pendulum to the left. Now, Sandy's going to get to this lead foot and throw a leaping hook to the body as Willie drops, looking to catch it with his elbow. And then we're going to have, of course, another tie up. And eventually a break. Then we're going to have another tie up and then teleport. All right, Sandy will look for a lead hook to the body as we see Willie escape to the left. Okay, Sandy will jab as Willie slips into his lead foot, and then we'll see him post out. So this is neat. Willie's going to fold out his lead while stepping this lead foot out, and then follow with a rear cross. Now with his weight on that lead foot, he can pendulum to the left, and then he's going to hit his brakes in the southpaw stance and throw a drive-by rear cross to the body. Now Sandy will jab as Willie looks to time him coming in with that rear uppercut. Then he's going to post, follow up with a rear cross. And then again, we're going to have another post, rear cross. All right, Willie's going to throw his rear cross and run through his stance. And the term I've heard used to describe this is a dart. Okay, Willie's looking to post. Then he's going to go over the top. And then again, he's going to repost. And then this time, he's going to go underneath. Then he's going to get inside for double rights. So Willie's going to throw his rear cross, and then he's going to hit the brakes right here in his southpaw stance, follow up with another rear cross. Then he's going to throw out double jabs. He gets caught with that lead uppercut from Sandy. Then 2 more jabs. Then we'll have a tie-up. And a break. Now Sandy will go back to that lead hook to the body, and then we'll have a tie-up, some holding and hitting. Then we'll have a break. Sandy's going back to that body, another tie-up, and we'll have a break. And that's going to do it for round 9 and the fight. Willie never came out of the corner for round 10.